Hello, everyone. Welcome to Court of the Rings on twitch.tv/LotroStream. I'm Lotro's community manager, Cordovan, and I'll be with you for the next hour. We have a little bit of news, and then we're going to be in game running some Before the Shadow stuff. Last week I did Yuletide, so I thought I'd get back to the main story here in Before the Shadow for today's live stream. We do have some things we can talk about, public event schedule, Extra Life. We can talk about this week's patch, Yuletide Festival. Whatever's on your mind sounds good. And hey, we're kind of getting closer to the end of the year, so theoretically, this week's patch, I believe, will be our last patch of the year. We will still do our Wednesday downtimes for the health of the game environment, just give things a quick reboot, essentially, and do whatever maintenance needs to be done. And otherwise, I think we're pretty much clear through the end of the year here. So we're hard at work on everything happening next year. And we're going to have a lot more information in the near future about Update 35 and things that are going to be happening, in 2023. What? There we are. But overall, the year is pretty much done except for our sales. And we do have some pretty big sales happening right now. We have our Yuletide savings. These are special deals that happen, swap out every week. Something's 35, 50, 75% off in general. And this week, 75% off the Monster Play bundled offers, 50% off milestone skills, 35% off account-wide steeds. This is through December 22nd. We're going to have another one that starts on the 22nd. And we're going through December with these sales. I also happen to know that I think next week we're going to be having a few other kind of special sales too. I can't talk about it today. People who've been playing Lotro for a long time and kept a pretty close eye on our sales calendar can probably get a pretty good sense of what might be coming up here towards the end of the start, really, of the main holiday period, and a big sales time for just about anyone selling anything somewhere. Including us, which we're going to have more information about next week. But I did want to tease that just a little bit. Also, I know people in chat have already been talking about it, but we kind of did something with our weekly coupon this week because we're giving away a free Black Steel key, and the coupon code is free key, which is pretty easy to remember. Free key to get a free key. And that'll be through the 22nd as well. So perhaps some of you might want to know a little bit more about that. So we have a particularly special thing that we're expecting to do next week that I can't tease, I can't talk about. I can't really do much anything related to a special sale item. I have, however, heard that some folks may already know what's up because certain things may have showed up in certain panels. But at the same time, we'll have a lot more information about that next week, so I can't talk about it this week. Sorry. That'll be a next week thing. But yes, we got something going on. That's true. I suppose that was a tease, wasn't it? But that's as much. There was a time where I was hoping maybe I could drop in a few screenshots or something for today's show and really kind of kick things off with some swagger. Unfortunately, I just can't. So we're going to have to wait until next week on that. Sorry. I did want to quick mention a bug fix that I know has been impacting quite a few players, and our fix to it is temporary. There was an issue where automatically bestowed quests. This initially came to the community and us through the Gundabad Jewel quest, but it expanded beyond that, really, to any automatically bestowed quests. Sometimes not bestowing correctly, and in general, it took us a little while to track this one down, but we've tracked it down this week to an issue with one of the landscape lag fixes that we had implemented in recent patches. Something is going on with that specific landscape lag fix. That is, when you cross land blocks or are introduced to a land block or various other conditions are met, and something is trying to auto bestow a quest, it is not properly bestowing. It's, we think, something like an order of operations issue, but it's overall been introduced because of the change in the way information is flowing due to this landscape lag fix. So we were able to revert that fix without even having to take the game worlds down. There was a specific technical reason for that, which is because it was related to lag and we want to do A/B testing and some things like that, we had it on what's like a ripcord essentially, so we could toggle it on and off. And so we toggled it off, and sure enough, everything started working again. So we did do that yesterday. What does that mean? Well, that means because it's off, that particular landscape lag solution is not in place, which means that things will return in some cases that we're meeting this condition that caused this change prior to, I believe, U34, right? So it would be whatever it was prior to update 34, I think, is the one that introduced this. So that would be with before the shadow. So if you saw a noticeable improvement to the lag on landscapes, specifically, like I say, especially when you're crossing land blocks, going into land blocks, leaving land blocks, things like that, that may be back for a couple weeks until we get our next big game update in the new year, in which case we're going to hopefully at that point have a different solution in place that will allow both the landscape lag fix to remain in game and this issue to not take place. But it's a complex one, so I can't really promise an ETA on its reintroduction. We're working on it though. We'd like to, because we do believe that this fix made a difference, but on the same time, not at the expense of not getting your automatically bestowed quests. So there you go. We unfixed the fix to fix the thing that was broken. All right. Yeah. So I think I got pretty much everything main that I was going to say out of the way. Let me just quick remind people, the Yuletide Festival does run until 3 a.m. Eastern on Tuesday, January 3rd. Tuesday, January 3rd. So you'll have that Monday, but 3 a.m. that Tuesday, January 3rd, the Yuletide Festival will end. I think that we know you've been enjoying the Yuletide Festival. I've certainly been seeing a lot of posts of myself, social media, live streams, that kind of thing, population in game. Yuletide seems to be hopping this year, and we do have some pretty cool stuff. I'm going to drop a link in chat real quick to our guide, mostly because it's got some nice screenshots of the new items if you want to take a look at them. There was a question. I guess let me call this page up actually on stream. Probably the easiest way. No, I think I might have the raw image. Let me see if I have the actual image first, and then just put that up. Yeah, here we go. Let me change scenes real quick. Get myself getting going, ready to go in game, but mostly for the smaller camera, because I wanted to put this up. We had a couple of questions I saw on Reddit about basically what's up with the wheeled chair. It was really just a matter of someone on the a couple of someone's on the team seeing it being introduced in some other game, and it being appreciated by the community there, both the abled and differently abled communities there, right? And so they were just like, gosh, we'd love to bring that to our game too. It is really nothing more than that. So we were able to introduce the wheelchair to the game, but not really able to make it mobile in the same way that, like, say, a Steed Tech or something that might allow it. We need to do that work, and we want to do that work, but it couldn't get done in a reasonable time frame. So we kind of had to decide, well, do we release it as the housing item that you can sit in, or do we wait to release it as sort of something more mobile? And we opted for the former there, because it is cool, and it will be there in people's homes and things like that. But that's really kind of the why and wherefore of that particular item. It has it's unbound, and it has an particularly low cost deliberately as well. We don't want people to have to grind to get their wheeled chair. It's something that this was the easiest, quickest, fastest, best way to just sort of get it out there. And it seemed like a nice item that hopefully people in the community will appreciate. So that's really what the story is on that one. So it was affecting the bestowal thing I was talking about. Someone was saying that was affecting exploration deeds as well. That wouldn't surprise me to hear that. Seems possible. Alright, so I am in-game on Crick Hollow, and this is Hurgler, my new burglar. He's a hobbit burglar named Hurgler, which is how I do it. In the same vein as Stampion, the Stout Axe Champion, and Dwinstrel, the Dwarven Minstrel. I have Hurgler, the hobbit burglar. And really at an early stage here, level 7. And running this character really on stream. This is going to be my stream character for a little while. Get away from the characters you've maybe seen for a couple of years, and in many cases over on Landreval and such. And I thought this would be a great opportunity to start fresh and play this new content. So I'm on Crick Hollow doing that. I am currently in, Book 1, Chapter 1, in the Wizard's Employ. And I found some swords earlier that I need to get investigated. And so I'm speaking to my good friend Maneldir, and he's telling me that maybe the Uruks fought, but why? The warband must have been larger. Perhaps the decision to attack Mossward was made not by the wizard, which had been named previously, although we'll find out more about that soon, but by the Uruks themselves. It is curious. As for the swords you collected, perhaps Scardy can melt them to better use. So we're here talking to there, and we're going into the Mossward blacksmith shop. While I do that, let me take a pause and go over to chat, see if there's anything folks would like me to talk about. I might need to turn my audio down just slightly, at least based on my own audio. Okay, so an abortion, I am not personally familiar with the status of that bug, nor the scope of that bug, frankly, either. So I would appreciate it if you get the opportunity. Turn down some of this. Keep that up a little bit. Turn that down. Alright. When will Warsteed accessory cosmetics be fixed? Some do not appear, i.e. orc head on a pike. Please send in a bug report through help.standingstonegames.com. It would be really good to know the character, class, background, all that kind of stuff, to probably help people solve that bug. I don't know. I'm not familiar with that one, I'm sorry. So, not much more I could say about it other than say, huh, okay. Well, we need to fix that then. Now, see, I for naming, I do this for just about every game I'm in. Often, if it's just like a personal thing, I'll use my personal kind of gamer handle Mock Duck, which I've had for years and years, right? But otherwise, like when I'm naming characters, I try to have a system. If you have a system, then it's not really hard to name your characters if you go through a lot of them. So my system on Lotro has been class, race, or race class, essentially. I am seeing a little bit of same XSplit issue I had this week on the other side, which is interesting because I don't remember having that last week. One of the things I'm hoping to do during the break here is to finally swap away from the software program I'm using to stream right now, and instead move over to OBS. And it looks like I'm going to have to do that because I am seeing my GPU spiking again. Are you seeing that? Someone let me know if you're seeing this in chat as well, but I'm pretty sure you are. Wait, okay, see how everything's all nice and smooth? I'm going to prioritize the game client by moving my mouse over to the game client, and now you'll see what happens. The game client is not showing this. Just XSplit. Like, the game client is all nice and smooth if I turned the camera around, you know. But XSplit is just bombing. Although not now. Not as much. But I was having frame rate issues that I actually had to end my stream earlier this week on the other game side. And it's convinced me I finally need to swap out. I really like this program I'm using. I'm using XSplit. I've used it for years and I love it. But I am having some kind of issue I can't solve. And I don't want my game to be all framey and bad. So, that kind of sucks. But it's weird that it's not happening now, though. Interesting. Not quite sure what to think about that. I'm on basically a hunt to help get some hides and talons, things to help the town out in the landscape here. And then eventually I'll be heading up to the road. But for now I'm mostly looking for boars and crabans. Or crabans? Birds. Crows. Of sorts. Now, just boars. What am I using for my outfit right now? Currently using the Valiant Pauldrons of the Dunedain. Like, basically, yeah, the Dunedain set. Valiant Chestplate of the Dunedain. Except apparently not with the pants. Maybe I'll have to look into that. But it's working, so maybe not. Well, they're not used to seeing orcs here. I mean, the rangers are usually keeping that far away from them, as I understand it. You know, I could probably get on my steed and find boars more quickly. But as long as I would... Oh, here we go. Rusted dagger. I'll have to go back and find that. I don't think I've found that on my other characters. Yeah, I'm aware of the chest piece pants thing in general. I guess I'm just surprised I hadn't noticed it. It must be because it's... I mean, honestly, it looks pretty good to me, so... My cosmetic method is often put a whole page of cosmetics, like in my inventory or from the wardrobe, wherever it is that I'm doing it. Sometimes I'm doing it on a fresh character and I got a bunch of things in my inventory, so I'll just go and do it that way. And I'll just sort of swap things in until it looks right to my eyes, and then I'll stop. And that's what happened here. But I must have looked at the pants and said, yeah, they're fine. So and just left it. Gondor. Gondor has no pants. Gondor needs no pants. Yes. Well, thankfully we do, in fact, have pants on. Both in real life and in-game. So. Where am I going? Take care of this person. Right, I am actually headed... Yeah, I need to go back on the map here, so I'm correct. I need to head this way on the road. Going the wrong way. But still killing boars, so that's fine. Let me see. So I'm trying to... There's some chat I'm trying to kind of sort through here. Oh, not seeing any frame issues? Oh, that would be fantastic news. Because I am seeing, like literally 2 frames a second. And when this was happening, I was seeing like 2-3 frames a second on my XSplit screen of the outward broadcast. So if you're telling me you did not see that, that would be extremely pleasant news. That would be fantastic. That would make it more of a display issue than in XSplit, which I don't care about, right? But I know I was seeing it in-game on the other game side, so I know it is a thing. You know, I would like that myself, Eros216. Eros216 is saying, is there any chance we could get an option to have quests that we have out-leveled? Like, we're not going to get anything from it. Still appear gold, so that you're actually just seeing the regular coins as your eyes are used to. You would opt into that, knowing the ramifications to our ability to tell you, vector you to quests of your level. I would like that option. I would love that option myself. I struggle. Stands in the fire. Okay, I think I've got your question sorted out now. You're saying out of left field, has there been more talk of doing overworld group difficulty content? Not really. Well, we talk about a lot of things. So yes, there has been discussion, but not something to the point that I would want to share with you today. We have the landscape difficulty on Treebeard and Shadowfax, and it seems to be pretty well liked, I think, in general. People have been enjoying it. And so, the idea of doing that elsewhere has come from the community. I don't know that we would want to bring it to all of the live game worlds, though. I think that we don't really currently intend to do that. But could we use it again, or do something like that, or do it for a bonus time period, or do something else with it, or something like that? Yeah, totally we could. We could definitely do something like that in the future. I just don't know what form it would take, and what have you. And the discussions, as with a lot of things, it's like, oh yeah, sure, we've talked about that. We've talked about all sorts of stuff. Wouldn't that be nice to do? And what if we ever did? And maybe we could solve this way. And those conversations happen daily, right? So it's just sort of how things roll. I need to kill 2 more boars, but nothing to the point that I think I would have anything to really kind of share or get your hopes up about or something like that. Not seeing the boars. Got 2 left. Lots of wolves. Footpads. So on the map. Okay. There we go. Now, can I get lucky and find another one without having to get on my steed yet? Let's see. Yes! Sweet. I mean, I think if we had overwhelming public interest in us bringing the landscape difficulty to the live worlds, then yeah, sure, we'd listen to that, you know? I think people that are on the Legendary Worlds do enjoy it, though. But I'm not sure that everyone would like it if we brought it to the live game worlds. Maybe they would. I don't know. You tell me. We had, you know, done some work over the summer to limit group sizes in landscapes due to performance and exploit and griefing and some other issues. And rolled some of that back. And there was a discussion fairly recently about what to do there. And so far, the conversation is to just sort of leave things as they are today. Whether we would ever do more in that regard, I think would be outside of the scope of something I would just kind of want to casually talk about. But would definitely be influenced by player conversation and interest. So, you know, if you feel strongly about it one way or the other, or would like to have that conversation, you know, let's... Sure.
Thank you for these items.
Uh-oh. B is saying in chat, you want your Undying title too much to risk playing under moraled. Now, I think people know that I am perhaps overly casual on death. I have just... Maybe I'm just that bad. But, you know, no. I tend to not worry about the Undying title. That actually came up last time I was playing here, so I was like, oh, don't worry about your Undying. I was like, I don't care about the Undying title. I'm sorry. I would rather die and get it over with. That's how, because it's an inevitability for me, so I'm just going to not worry. Over on Landreval, the character did hit 10. This one we saw on stream, this one not. So no, nothing to announce, Telerian. I do keep pestering certain folks about transfers from closed worlds, and I know that they do want to do that work, but we're not in a position to say anything further about it today, unfortunately. Sorry. Someday I will announce that these transfers from closed worlds will have reopened, and that day will be grand. But that day will not be today. Remember how many years ago when I promised? And that's why I don't promise. No. I'm just being goofy. You know what I mean. Hopefully. That one is something that I may have overly anticipated its deployment by a significant period of time. Can't win them all. I'll take the L on that one. I mean, that is an interesting question. I like, if you really put it to a vote on the landscape difficulty, just bring it out everywhere. I wonder what the results you'd get would be. Do we? Not that we'd want to open that can of worms over the holidays necessarily, but I'm just saying. Maybe the answer would be yeah. It is opt-in. That's a very good point. That's probably the key point, honestly. Oh, okay. Well, I have someone in chat who's saying they don't like that feature. Thankfully, as we said, it is opt-in. But it is good to hear from some folks who were like, you know. Sorry, I don't mean to call you out, but Jinjar, thank you. I see your name in chat here, and there's a reason I care. And that is, you are one of the few people I have not been able to get your Extra Life stuff to. I have almost all of the Extra Life stuff done. There are like 3 or 4 people yet that I am struggling to, who have filled out surveys, that I am struggling to get their stuff to. And one of them is you. And the reason for that is your Twitch account won't receive a private message or whisper from us. I can't whisper you your codes. So either get in touch with me through the forums, if you can send me a quick private message, or if you can't, just quick unblock yourself this afternoon, and I'll get back to you this afternoon with your codes there for Extra Life. I was hoping, maybe, I was kind of hoping, I was like, gosh, how am I going to ever get in touch with you if all I've got is your Twitch name and I can't message you? And I apologize for that, but I'm really glad to see you here. I'm actually not sure of the answer of how the landscape difficulty interacts with open tapping. I don't honestly know. In general, open tapping is not behavior we want to support. I can't really speak as to the limited availability of carry-alls. That is ultimately a marketing decision that takes place about what gets offered when and why. And it is true that in the world of business, sometimes you put things for sale for a limited time to help drive sales of things. And I think that that's probably just all there is to the carry-alls there is, you know, you in part retain their value by having them a limited time offer. I don't really know the mechanics of how that would work on landscape difficulty. I apologize.
Hello there.
Someone would need to do the work to give that a test.
heard Tegwin has gone missing.
Yeah, so Tegwin's gone. We got Urix around, and you know, probably not a good idea. We need to find this dude. So let's shall. And I mostly though need to defeat Avanx. Guess my horse is used to it. Get off my case. This guy's totally cool. Doesn't even hurt him. Oops. Yeah, you... I ran into this earlier. We have this wall here that does not like... Does not want you to jump over it. We need to figure out how to get out of this place. Alright. There are places you can jump the wall. I know because I did it last night. But it's not here. I think this is correct. Yeah. Over and around. Yeah, we do have specific themes for the regions here in Before the Shadow. As a matter of fact, there was our final patch of the year this week. 34.1.1. We have the release notes available on Lotra.com. I could go into them, but I don't think it's probably worth taking the time on the show today to go over Wednesday's release notes. But we did fix a few things with regional sound. There was a couple of villages that did not properly have their stuff. Okay, my phone is going nuts. What do I need to do? What's going on here? Okay. Bonks. Yes, we did have a fix to the water this week. I know that there's still some controversy a little bit on it about what we should do with the water in the area. But I like the fix that went in place this week. And I think a bunch of people did too. As soon as I get in my mount. You know, I would not want to see one of these things in my yard. I'm just saying, when you look at the river Avank, you're like, oh, actually, I need to start learning my sneak and start practicing my burglaring. Because in general, I don't burgle very well, I don't think. I'm not burglaring right. Oh, open up my Hobbit present. Okay. What did I get? Enhanced XP supply. Don't want that on this character, really. Sent Virtue XP. Oh, I don't think I even have something equipped, so let's do that. That'll take. Alright, oh, where was my orientation on the map? Right, I need to go up and this way. Yeah, I mean, I think on landscape difficulty, though, it's not something that we're like super gung ho to do or anything like that. It's an interesting idea that comes up sometimes. I think if we were to, uh, really strongly consider it, it would probably come from the community in some ways. If enough people in the community wanted us to do it, sure, we could consider that. It's certainly not a big priority on our part, I don't think. It's kind of nice to have it be part of what makes the Legendary world special, I think. Maybe. I really am going to need to wait for our next producer's letter or Q&A or things like that to get much into our 2023 plans. I'm just not in a position to confirm or deny or speculate or start saying, will this be in there or won't this be in there? I just can't do it today. And so I don't really want to go down that road and then end up either over-promising, improperly promising, or, getting people worked up for no reason really on what may or may not be coming in 2023. We certainly have plans and we are working on them right now. And pretty soon we'll be in a position to share a lot more with you about what's going on and what 2023 will look like. But today on the live stream is not that day. Lots of moss lurkers. Oh, there we are. Okay. I just need one more after this. Favorite Christmas cookie? That is a very good question. Now, that's my kind of question. That is a tricky one, though. I think the answer is a very thin, crunchy, but high-quality gingerbread cookie with a very small amount of kind of hard candy-style frosting on it. Not like coated, not covering the whole thing, just some eyes, nose, and a mouth. Maybe a little shirt buttons or something. And some kind of hard candy style thing on it. I think that's my favorite Christmas cookie. Second runner-up, though, would probably be a basic high-quality sugar cookie or biscuit-style sugar cookie with sprinkles. I'm glad Soft Snake GRU enjoyed Bombadil quite a bit, sounds like, and that's cool. I'm happy to hear that. Looks like I might need to... Well, there's where all the Yvonks are. Jeepers, crikey. Oh no, am I gonna die? I am gonna die. Where am I? There we go. Shoot. What were you saying about the Undying title? That's what I was talking about. That's what I meant. Would I not do it again, though? At least try not to. Go a little more slowly through this patch. All right, thanks for the feedback, Rocky. On basically, you think you're not big into the tier 10 delving loot. Maybe in the future we'll be able to find loot that you find more attractive, and if not, well, then perhaps tier 10 delvings are not for you. You know, there is a pretty good article that Orion goes into the thinking of what should you be getting from delvings, and so I think we're pretty clear about the quality of loot, the frequency of loot, and sort of how that loot compares with other loot you might acquire in the game. And so hopefully, you know, I think what we released was in line with that. So.
No sign of Tegwin. I have seen nothing either. Nothing. Let us continue our search.
But it is, you know, you're supposed to be able to work toward tier 3 equivalent loot, essentially, by doing the highest difficulty of delvings. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to get it as an Enderward, right? You're tearing through so many delvings that the idea of getting, say, loot that you might actually equip as a random drop outside of the jackpots, which are built into the system that are described in that article, you know, seems very unwise, because the frequency of acquisition is just so high, right? So when you're looking at, you're specifically talking about like the crafting mats, which are not really the main focus of the loot that you get. It's the delving writs and the jackpots and things like that that are of particular importance there. There it is.
This does seem to be Tegwin's sword.
We're always looking to optimize the game. You know, it's something that we spend all year, every year, pretty much doing. And that's, I don't know. Much more I could say beyond that. We're always looking to optimize the game for performance and elsewhere.
I'm here. I'm here.
What am I currently using for an item? I'm currently using a dagger, so I should probably get the dagger here.
You would have been very proud of me. I'm certain of it.
So, Tegwin found a scouting party of Uruks talking about the old elf city to the northeast, which is where they're going. Sounds like where they wanted to go all along. So, Meneldir.
Elf City. That must be Karas Galebrin.
Karas Galebrin. Hill to the east. Yep. I'm surprised you can't play on high graphics settings. I am... Well, let me double check what I'm doing. Normally I'm playing on Ultra. Custom. Must have swapped something in around. But yeah, I could play on Ultra, and my computer is 5 years old now. It's a pretty decent computer. I've got a i7 7700 1060 GPU is a GTX 1060. That's all I've got for a graphics card. But you know, in this era of $500 graphics cards and COVID short supplies, a 1060 is just fine for Lotro and every other game I play. And it's playing in ultra high. So if you have a new powerful computer, I would look into it and see maybe what kind of things might be going on there. Pretty much any computer that is new as of the last, 5 years should pretty much be able to play it. Now, not your laptops, not your mini PCs, not, a whole bunch of other things that you might be running it off of, but in general. While Lotro is a demanding game in part due to a whole million different factors, it will run on a lot, so. And in pretty high quality. And as long as you got a basic, probably PC that ran somewhere upwards of $800 to $1,000 that was released in the last 5 years, you should largely be able to run things on good graphic settings. Now, some people are more sensitive to things like frame rate and anti-aliasing and all the other kind of visual settings that go along with that, right? And so I'm not really commenting as to what your experience is, but in terms of running the game and having a generally stable experience, you should be able to do that. So. I have not really to date played much on Brandywine, I'm sorry. It's mostly been on Landreval. Back in the day it was Villia, was where I was stationed. And on stream here, it's Crick Hollow now. So. I also need to figure out how to take care of my bleeds off camera here. For next week. Because dying is bad. Kind of. I mean, I'm kind of just getting started here on Crick Hollow, so I think I would be loath to swap away from this character, probably for at least the first half of 2023 here. We're going to be running this character through Before the Shadow, and whatever else we decide to run after that. But at least through all this Before the Shadow stuff, and then I would imagine by that point, we would be probably pretty close to our next, endgame type content, because we've already said, we're focusing on that in 2023. And that doesn't mean there won't be other stuff, but that means we're making sure that like you, we want more endgame type content, and so we'll be doing that. And as a result of that, then I would probably go back to Landreval and play my level 140, right? Because I want to have a developed character that I could use for that. So the idea of starting fresh during that time frame on Brandywine, maybe not, right? Titan Metal. There are specific issues with the Cyrillic and the auction house, which is why that has not been really possible.
Hello there.
I'm just going back a long ways, but there were some very severe issues that that was causing the game world, and so that is why that got removed. There was some kind of exploit that got discovered.
You say you bring word from Manel, dear?
It was like bypassing the profanity filter or something like that. You know, it really wouldn't make sense for me to be like, hey, do we have any interest in doing, you know, this suggestion that I have, right? It's like, well, I mean, like I said, we talk about a lot of things, but what we're particularly interested in is the things that we announce, and I can neither announce something new nor commit to something that, you know, I'm not the decision maker, right? I couldn't tell you whether we might ever do a thing, but you know, so like the suggestion of having a different sort of classic server, a more traditional, I guess, classic server, rather than the legendary world that we're doing, which isn't really a classic server by design. So, and by practicality.
I am pleased to see we share a purpose, or at least we have our hatred of orc kind in common.
Saw an Oricure, here we go. Oh, I can throw a knife now, huh? Ooh, heal myself. That's good. I'm gonna have to try to avoid, like, some of the groups of Uruks here, because I think that they might raffle stomp me. Yeah, thank you, Guarendus, for your suggestions about a burglar. I think I've been kind of clear about this. I don't actually know how to play a burglar. That's part of why I'm playing this, is to start learning how to play a burglar a little bit. So, you know, feel free to offer some suggestions that I may or may not listen to. But I will certainly, you know, try to update my knowledge of how to properly play a burglar. Which, we'll see. That guy's not an Uruk. Alright. See, I'm a little worried about starting to go too deeply into these camps, because I don't want to have to face, like, I have a feeling a group of 3 Uruks might kind of toast me. Maybe I'm being too wimpy, but... And I see we're actually at 1 o'clock here. But that's fine. I'm going to go just a couple minutes here, and then we'll wrap up the show. My current intention is to have a show next week. It'll be, I know, that's like Christmas Eve. But I think I'm going to have a show next week. There's a chance, though, that circumstances may be like, I've got too much else going on and it's Christmas and no. But at least today, the answer is yes. And so I would expect to have a Court of the Rings next week, and that'll be a pretty chill show. And then that'll be it for 2022. And we'll have a lot more to say in the coming weeks beyond. Because I have a week off here between Christmas and New Year's, and so I have a community manager week off, which means that you still have to work, but a lot less. Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's basically a freeze type action. The riddle. I'll have to start using that a little more. Sounds good. Helpful advice. Well, let's see. Well, actually, that's... Yeah, there we go. Okay. What? Meanwhile, that's what we should be doing. Well, maybe not. This is, after all, a serious game of Middle-earth. My goofy idea of having them say what is probably a bad idea. Get you. Let me try out my knife throw. Did I just trap myself? I bet I did. Well, it's probably about as good a place to wrap it up then as any. Let's see if I can have to mount myself out or something. Nicely done, me. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up anyway, because it is after 1 o'clock. I will deal with this later. Thanks, everyone, for watching Court of the Rings on twitch.tv/LotraStream. The archives go on Facebook and YouTube later on in the afternoon after they get processed and what have you, so expect that. Hope you're enjoying the Yuletide Festival. Hope you're enjoying the Lord of the Rings Online Update 34.1.1 this week. You can find the release note this past week. You can find the release notes on Lotra.com. Sales are underway. We got more stuff happening next week. You definitely want to tune in to next Thursday's sales and promotions. Just saying. We got some big stuff that we'll be doing there. Otherwise, hope you're having a great time, and we'll have a lot more to say here in the coming weeks and next couple of months. So I will see you next Friday as we wrap up 2022. Bye-bye.